How do I share my screen? There we go. There we go. All right. TikTok tried to kick me out, saying I'm doing misinformation when all I'm doing on here is debunking misinformation. We can go live on YouTube. Which sucks because normally when they get me for misinformation, when I appeal it, it usually works. The appeals usually go through and I win the case. But unfortunately, in this instance, that is not the case. I lost the case. And I won't be able to go live again until July 4th, which is next Friday. So that sucks. But that's okay, because we're going to continue our discussion here on X, or excuse me, on YouTube. We're on X, diving deep into the conspiracy nonsense, but we are live on YouTube. So we were looking at Seeker of Truth's post when we were over on TikTok before someone reported us for misinformation, even though what I'm doing is correcting misinformation, lies, and the deception, right? I'm actually very surprised that YouTube did not approve the appeal, because usually when I get a misinformation violation, they usually approve it. And this time they did not. So that sucks. But that's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to continue it over here. And we are going to dive deep into conspiracy nonsense that is on Twitter or X, however you want to call it. And we're going to start with Seeker of Truth. And we're going to start with this nonsense here about Celine Dion, right? We're going to pick up where we left off. We weren't live for too long over there anyway. It was maybe 8 minutes, 9 minutes that we were live over there on TikTok. So all right. So this is where we were. Celine Dion, another satanic, androgynous, gender-inverted, Masonic blank. I'm not sure if I can say that word on this app. I'm not sure. I've never really gone live over here on YouTube. So not sure what I'm allowed to say. But Blankavore. Celine is a Roman circus puppet for the deep state. What the heck is a Roman circus puppet? What is that?
What did he say?
What is a Roman circus puppet? I'm not familiar with that term. They're not even hiding it anymore. The truth in plain sight. Hiding what? Hiding what? What are they supposed to be hiding? So let's see here. We'll watch this video over here in just a second. And I like that YouTube shows the mouse pointer. Before I got banned for a week over on TikTok, I was just complaining that people can't see my mouse pointer. So when I'm trying to encircle things or like point out things, people can't see my mouse pointer. So I'm glad YouTube allows you to see my mouse pointer. I'm glad YouTube allows that. So we'll watch this video in just a second over here, but let's take a look at the image here. So supposedly in Freemasonry, this means Osiris risen. Now, I'm not a Freemason and I'm not a master of any sort of Masonic information. I have quite a few Freemasonry texts, but I'm not going to move this back here. I'm not going to pretend like I've read the totality of them, but I do have a few Masonic texts here in my Google Drive. I do have a couple of Freemasonry texts here. But I'm not going to, I won't lie and pretend like I've read all of these. But even if this does mean Osiris risen, Celine's not doing this with her head down. Celine is doing this. She's got one hand up here and the other hand over here. Right? Definitely not Masonic. But even if it was, so what? What makes any of this evil or demonic or satanic? Doing this? What? That makes absolutely no sense. 0 sense. And I don't think people in the conspiracy community know how Hollywood works, like for real, behind the scenes. I don't think they understand it's the entertainment industry. It's an industry. I don't think people understand that. They, for some reason, think that these celebrities have all the power, even though in this same post, it calls her a puppet. How can she be a puppet right here? How can she be a puppet, meaning she doesn't have her own power or abilities? How can she be a puppet, but also at the same time retain her own autonomy to be a Satanist or whatever? That doesn't make any sense. That makes 0 sense. Oh, not that one. I want to bring up this one. I don't think they understand that in Hollywood, when you're on a photo shoot set, unless the celebrity is paying for the photo shoot out of their own pocket, you know, like say Rihanna has her own clothing line and makeup line, right? Fenty. If Rihanna is paying for the photo shoot, then that would make sense that Rihanna has the say. But as far as I'm aware, Celine Dion doesn't really own many companies or any companies or anything like that. So any photo shoot she's probably in is most likely being paid for by her label or some magazine that wants to shoot her or whatever, right? Which means they hire a creative director or a director or a photographer or all three. And those are the people that tell Celine Dion what poses to make. Those are the people that tell all these celebrities what to do. Maybe the last 10 minutes of the shoot, the creative director will say, okay, Celine, okay, Drake, okay, Ariana Grande, do whatever you want. We'll just have some fun, snap some fun pictures. But they have a job to do. They were hired by somebody, the magazine, the label, the perfume company that is doing the shoot or whatever. And there are specific shots that this company wants. And so if Celine Dion or any other celebrity is doing any kind of hand pose or stance or whatever, 9 times out of 10, they didn't have a say in that. So now these conspiracy theorists need to reconcile how these people can, of their own volition, be a Satanist, but at the same time be a puppet. How can you be controlled while also at the same time retaining autonomy to believe in Satan and all this other stuff? That doesn't make any sense. You're either controlled or you're not. That doesn't make any sense. Moving on to this image here. This is a popular image in the conspiracy community, the shh. I guess every time a parent is telling their kid to shut up, they're honoring Satan, they're honoring the devil. And like what? Why does this have anything to do with Satanism or Freemasonry or Luciferianism or anything like that. Oh, it means to be silent. Oh, it means to be okay. So if that's the case, just tell your people to shut up. You don't need to take a picture of you going like this. You hold a meeting in your secret underground chambers or whatever and say, hey, shut the fuck up. Hey, don't say anything. No need to, Celine, if you really believe it, I need you to take a picture of going like this. Shh. That doesn't make any sense. That is the most illogical thing I've ever heard of in my life. What makes the shh sign demonic or satanic? No one knows. Probably because it's not demonic or satanic. It's just nonsense. Right? Same with these two pictures right here. We see this Mason here putting his hand in his shirt or his jacket or whatever. And then we see Celine Dion doing the same thing. Must be demonic, must be satanic. She must be a Freemason. Well, number one, I thought women can't be Freemasons. I thought women have their own branches, right? Daughters of Isis and all that. Where does it say in any female Freemasonry book that this is a symbol? Right? Why don't we see Drake doing this? Or, I don't know, Matthew McConaughey or Denzel, you know, these males that are at the top of their game in the entertainment industry. So can women be Freemasons or not? Because it seems to me that these people have no idea what they're talking about. Can women be Freemasons or not? Next, we have her in a bathtub. And then we have this image. Of course, there's no source, right? We have no idea where this image was drawn from or pulled from, I guess I should say. Preparing for the first degree. You got to get in the bath. Soap, and this looks like it's saying soda or sodium or whatever. All we see is sod on the end here. And then a brush. So they have to bathe you? Okay, let's say that that's true. Let's say that that is true. First of all, this could just be a rendition that someone drew, has nothing to do with Freemasonry, right? They don't post their source. They don't post where they got this from. They just post it and expect you to believe it, right? But let's say that this image was really a Freemasonic image, and this is really what you got to do to get to the first degree. You have to take a bath and get bathed by other men and all this other stuff. Let's say that that was true. Celine Dion's not getting bathed. She's fully clothed in an empty bathtub. How do the two relate? That's like saying if someone is driving a car, they're satanic, and then you post an image of, you know, Drake driving a car. Everyone drives cars, assuming you know how to drive and you have a license. Does that make everyone satanic? Everyone takes baths. Is everyone a Freemason? I don't understand. I don't understand it. Celine Dion's not taking a bath, and she's not getting bathed by random men with a brush, soap, and soda or sodium or whatever this SOD, whatever the rest of the word is. We don't know because it doesn't say. But how does this make Celine Dion a Freemason? None of this makes any sense. So here we have Celine Dion holding up I guess a deer skull or a horse skull or something like that. I don't know. With one eye. Now, this is a common conspiracy trope. The one eye symbolism, covering one eye and all that nonsense, right? But if you remember my video from, I think, like 2 years ago, maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's here on YouTube. I did a video on, and it's also on TikTok, where I just got banned from. That's for a week. That's why I'm live here on YouTube, because someone reported me for misinformation, which I usually win those appeals. But for some reason this time, they decided to side with the reporter and claim that I was spreading misinformation when I'm debunking misinformation. But that's what happens when people who believe this nonsense, when they get challenged, they don't know how to respond with logic and reason, they don't know how to have a proper debate, they lash out, right? But anyway, this is a common trope in the conspiracy community, the one eye. But if you recall the video that I did on the Solabusca Tarot, which is a tarot deck or a tarot deck from 14th century, actually 15th century Milan, actually 15th century Ferrara in Italy, right? Commissioned by the D'Este family, specifically Ercole D'Este, which supposedly depicts how do I want to say it? A dark Gnostic grimoire throughout several of the cards. There is a card, I believe it's Lenpio. But there is a card in that deck in which the practitioner is covering one eye and he's throwing incense into a brazier. It's not to show his allegiance to the devil or Satan. It's actually to show reverence for a deity that is incoming. The reason he's throwing incense into the brazier is to call upon his God, his deity. And as that deity is approaching, he covers one eye because he believes that you're not supposed to look upon the deity with both eyes because you are unworthy. Nothing to do with the devil or Satan or Moloch or Baal or anything of that nature. And this is from the scholarly research of Peter Mark Adams in his Game of Saturn. Where are they getting this from? Right? See what I just did there? I gave foundation. I gave the source so you can go and do your own research. I told you the tarot deck that I'm pulling this from, where that tarot deck comes from, who commissioned that tarot deck, and the scholarly research of the author and the name of the book, that you can go and learn more about this. Where is any of that in this? Once we're done, we'll go through the comments. We're not going to find anybody posting any evidence. It's just, believe me, Celine Dion did this, therefore she's satanic. Why? I just gave you evidence for why she's not satanic. Why can't they do the same? They just show an image and just expect us to believe that Celine Dion or any other celebrity is satanic because they're covering up one eye. What makes one eye evil? What makes one eye evil? That doesn't make any sense. If somebody has a degenerative eye disease and they wear an eye patch, now they have one eye. Are they somehow magically satanic? Oh, that's ridiculous. It's no more ridiculous than believing that because Celine Dion is doing this with her eye that she's satanic. What makes that satanic? How is one eye demonic, Luciferian, or whatever? It's not. It's not. This second image with her in the green, I don't even know what this is. I've never seen someone go, that's satanic, covering your mouth or whatever is like it's getting ridiculous. What makes this satanic? How is this satanic? Over here, we've got Celine Dion doing the quote unquote 666, right? What makes 666 satanic? Because 666 comes from the Christian Bible in Revelation, where the Bible says it's the number of a man. Doesn't say it's the number of Satan. Doesn't say it's the number of the devil. Doesn't say it's evil. It says it's the number of a man. Now, you can interpret that man to be the Antichrist, but then I would ask, what's your foundation for that? Right? For people who believe that, conspiracy theorists, and by far and large, at least here in the West, I don't know about in China and India, but here in the West, 9 times out of 10, conspiracy theorists are Christian. Your own Bible says, lean not unto thine own understanding, which means you don't know what you're talking about. You should probably learn from those who have the understanding, right? And I don't mean to turn this into a theological thing, but that's why sola scriptura is ridiculous, because you're leaning into your own understanding and you have no idea what you're talking about. You think that the Bible is univocal and it's not. Right? That's the problem. That's the problem. So what makes 666 evil, demonic, satanic? Because you say so? Because your favorite X poster said so? Your favorite YouTuber said so? Do they post any evidence? Probably not. So what makes it satanic? Nothing. Right? We already talked about the eye. This thing. Or her thumb is like this. Devil horns, right? That's what that's supposed to be. Ooh, I'm doing the devil horns. Who said the devil had horns? Where in what legitimate religious text is showing the devil with horns? Do any of these conspiracy theorists read any actual Christian, Jewish, or Muslim, or I should probably say Islamic theological texts? Which legitimate Muslim, Christian, or Jewish theological text says that the devil has horns? That seems to be a human rendition of the devil, probably to do with deities like Pan, right? Not the actual devil having horns. They try to say things like calling people the goat, the greatest of all time, because Baphomet is depicted as part goat. That when you call people the goat, you're referencing Baphomet. Why? Because it's a goat and Baphomet is half goat? Do you even know anything about Baphomet? You don't. You see a goat with some titties and you're like, well, this is demonic. Why? Why don't you go read what Eliphas Levi, the person who created Baphomet, why don't you go and see what he says? No. That would require actual research. That would require you to actually study something rather than just taking everything at face value, just believing nonsense. And finally, I guess this is another one eye thing. I don't know. I mean, her eye's not covered; it's just in a shadow. So I don't know. I guess you can't be in shadows anymore. I guess if you walk between two buildings when it's daytime and the sun doesn't shine in that alleyway, and so you're in the shadows, you're demonic and satanic for some reason. So don't go down unsunlit alleyways, right? If you live in a city, you have to stay in the sun. If you walk behind a building or in front of a building and the sun, it's 3:00 in the afternoon and the sun's over here, guess you're demonic now. Oh, that's ridiculous. No more ridiculous than believing that because Celine Dion has half her face in the shadow, she's evil. No more ridiculous than that. And what is this? This is another thing. This is another thing that they do. Celine Dion accused of promoting Satanism by launching gender-neutral clothing line. The devil is going after children by confusing gender. So another thing that these conspiracy theorists do is they'll post headlines like this, but they won't give you the source. What is this from? What website is this from? What news company is this from? This could be someone's blog. This could be Nick Riley's blog. Nick Riley's own website. And who is Nick Riley? I remember the days when people would post things, or you know what? Not even the days. They still do it today. If you follow legitimate news sites or people who are legitimately posting news articles, they always include, this is from the New York Post. Like, you can see the New York Post in the screenshot. And usually you can see the URL. This is from the New York Times. This is from BBC, or this is from Reuters, or this is from Russia Today, or whatever. The source is usually in the screenshot, but for some reason, conspiracy theorists don't do that. Why? Maybe because this is not from a legitimate source. They don't want you to know it's from nickriley.com. Who the fuck is Nick Riley? And why should we believe anything he's saying? This is a common thing that they do because they don't want you to do your own research. They want you to just believe whatever they're saying. Celine Dion is accused of promoting Satanism by launching gender-neutral clothing line. Who is she being accused of promoting Satanism by? Who is doing this? It's not the general public. It's not the general public. So who is it? Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Now let's take a look at this video here. Is this a young Celine Dion? How deep is the rabbit hole? I mean, you haven't shown me anything. This is just a bunch of pictures of Celine Dion when she was a kid. Like, what? How deep is the rabbit hole? I don't know. You tell me. You're just showing images of her as a child. Like, I don't understand. Oh, so she wants to be an international star. Evil, demonic, Satan. What? That's an angelic voice. She's not on stage, and this is no offense to heavy metal and death metal, but she's not on stage talking. I would say that's more demonic, even though it's not. But I would say that's more demonic than what she just did. That was a beautiful angelic voice. I would say Ozzy Osbourne is more, and he's not. But I would say he's more satanic than Celine Dion. And that's another thing. Why is no one going after the bands that are literally on stage with pentagram? Marilyn Manson crucified himself upside down on stage. No one said shit about that. That was just his creative expression. Wow, look at the art. Oh my, he's so creative. Wow. Celine Dion sings about the Titanic and it must be demonic. What? Celine Dion makes love songs. I'm your lady. You are my man. Wow, demonic. How evil. Meanwhile, Ozzy Osbourne is biting the head off of birds. No one calls that evil. That's fine. But Celine Dion makes a song about loving her husband, and God damn it, it must be from the devil. It makes no sense. We live in a clown world. We live in a literal clown world. These conspiracy theorists like to say things are inverted. Yes, they are inverted. Because you're believing that the people who have nothing to do with Satanism are satanic, and the people who are showing you legitimate satanic stuff, those people are not satanic. That's just their creative expression. But Celine Dion is hugging a tree on the beach in this image, and this is because the devil told her to do it. Meanwhile, Marilyn Manson can crucify himself upside down in utter blasphemy of Christ, and no one says nothing about that. That's fine. But Celine Dion hugging a tree is evil. Get the fuck out of my face. What are you talking about? Ooh, it goes a lot deeper. Show me. You see? You see how we have the sources? Le Figaro. Celine Dion soupçonnait du satanisme avec sa ligne de vêtements pour enfants Celine. This is essentially saying that she's being accused of being a Satanist because she has a clothing line for children. What? What? What the fuck is Le Figaro? Probably not a major news article. I mean, news organization. Right? Probably not legitimate at all. These are the first public. These are the premier publications on Instagram de la Marque de Vêtements for the clothing ad. New or none new or none new. I don't know how to say that. Clay Pile Celine Dion. Insanity. How does the kids' clothing line even correlate? It doesn't. Like, I don't know. Maybe they'll show us. Let's see what they do. Okay, so a cross is evil now. It used to represent Christ. Now crosses are evil. A bunch of eyes on the on this kid's clothes. What makes an eye evil? Like, this is like there's never any answer for any of this. Oh, it's one eye. Okay, why is one eye evil? Let's say you're right. This one eye means something. Okay, what does it mean? And how do you know this? Right? That's the thing that these people fail to answer. How do you know this? And then their response is, it's obvious. It's not obvious. If it was obvious, everyone would, or the majority of people would believe it, but they don't. What makes one eye evil? These kids down here are doing hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil while wearing eyes. So hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, yet it's evil. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then, I don't know, this is a zebra mask, I guess. For some reason, zebras are evil. I don't get it. What makes zebras evil? This isn't a BDSM mask or anything like that. This looks like a zebra. It may not be I mean, this could be a Rey Mysterio mask. I don't know. But what makes any of that evil? Demonic. What makes it evil? They have no answer. New world. Whisper in your ear. So I'm guessing these are supposed to be demon babies. What makes these demons? Because it has antlers? Why can't it be an alien? No, it's got to be a demon. Because to the conspiracy theorists, aliens don't exist. Everything is a demon. If it's not of God, it's of the devil. Everything is black and white to them. There's only good and evil. There's only God and the devil, and that's it. There is no in between. This is ridiculous. We talked about Baphomet earlier. This is a goat. I don't know what book this person's holding, but what does it say? Really, Black Phillip, is that you? This seems a little demonic. Why? Why is it demonic? What makes a goat demonic? Heather Lynn has a really good book. I actually just finished reading it, called Baphomet Revealed. Because I actually can back up the shit that I say, right? She has a good book called Baphomet Revealed. Baphomet Revealed. Mysteries and Magic of the Sacred Icon by Heather Lynn, PhD. This is my second book by her. It's a little worn. You can see down here. It's a little. I just finished it, right? Really good book. I think everyone in the conspiracy community should read this, but they won't, because that actually would require you to do research. And they don't know how to do that. And so it's a fail. They don't know how to do research. It's the most ridiculous thing. What makes Baphomet evil? What makes a goat evil? What makes this evil? Just because you don't like it doesn't make it evil. Right? Baphomet represents duality. Right? It represents the material and the divine, the feminine and the masculine, the celestial and the chthonic. But in the 1800s, Eliphas Levi didn't have the vocabulary to say all that. And so he depicted it in an image. Right? What's that saying? A picture is worth 1,000 words. So rather than writing that, he decided to show you that. And that's what he did. I think everyone in the conspiracy community should read books like this. They won't, because it challenges their worldview. Even though they say, I challenge my worldview all the time. No, you don't. You read the stuff that agrees with your worldview. You don't challenge it. You don't challenge it. Because if you challenged it, you still wouldn't believe in that nonsense. Yet here you are posting nonsense like this. So what do those shirts say? New order? So was that supposed to be the new world order? Stop. Stop. Again, what makes one eye evil? I don't get it. I don't get it. This is insane. Come on, play. There we go. So because she doesn't want to spend the night in jail, she's a demonic person? I don't get it. I don't get it. Adrenochrome is their youth elixir. When they stop consuming it, it has rapid age reversing effects. What? What? This makes no sense. You're usually not streaming on YouTube. Did you get banned on TikTok? Yes, I was doing this on TikTok for about 10 minutes, and someone reported me for misinformation, and they banned me for a week. So I'm banned from going live. I can still post videos and stuff. I just can't go live on TikTok until July 4th, which sucks because when I normally get the misinformation violation, I appeal it, and I usually win it. I think I've only lost one other time, and that was like 2 years ago. But every other time I've been reported for misinformation, they reverse it within like 10 minutes. And I'm back live and, mocking those people, and they keep reporting, but it doesn't work after that. But in this case, they did not approve it. They upheld it and said I was spreading misinformation, even though I'm doing exactly what I'm doing here, pulling up the misinformation and debunking it. They said that I am doing misinformation. So I'm banned for a week from live streaming on TikTok. But I believe that this information needs to get out. So I decided to come over here. So anyway, adrenochrome is synthetic epinephrine. And if you digest it, nothing happens because that's how digestion works. But see, that requires research, Thermal. That requires research. That requires them for them to know something. And they don't want to know anything. They want to look at an image and go, that's evil. But why is it evil? Because I say it's evil. Huh? Huh? It makes no sense. Death Becomes Her. Meryl Streep, Bruce Willis, and Goldie Hawn. Is this like what? Now I've never seen this movie. So if any of you have seen this movie, please tell me. But is you know what? Fuck it. Death Becomes Her. Let's see what Death Becomes Her is about. Because I've never seen this movie. That promises eternal youth was filming began, blah blah blah. Okay, what's the plot? Broadway musical, backstage, playing passenger, spent with the breaks. Okay. 7 years, miserable life, depressed. Ernest becomes out every party, right? Beauty treatments, blah blah blah. Intense, slim, youthful type, blame bound. Okay, like a potion that promises eternal youth. She drinks the potion, it reverses her age. Okay, but what's the potion? Persephone kill Madeline, blah blah. Her body, blah blah. Bodies for. Okay, so I've never. But do we know what's in the potion? Is it adrenochrome, or is it just a potion? All right. Well, it's not telling us, so I don't know. But apparently, this is adrenochrome. Ooh. Stop it. Ex-CIA. Am I just supposed to believe this guy was ex-CIA? How can we verify this? How can we validate this? So I can just go on anybody's podcast and call myself I don't know, Australian sniper. I have no Australian accent. There's nothing to indicate that I ever been to Australia. Yet I just say I'm a former, Australian army sniper says this. And everyone's just going to believe I'm a former Australian sniper. Like, stop it. This guy was CIA. He looks like he worked at a donut shop, not CIA. Maybe he was. How do we validate that? Or am I just supposed to believe this guy and his wife, I guess, sitting in some Victorian era photo booth? I don't know what they're sitting in. I don't know what the fuck that is behind them. But what? Why would I believe that? Y'all look like y'all just stepped out of an Anne Rice novel. Like you just came from an Interview with the Vampire fucking party. What the hell is that behind you? You're the vampire. You're the adrenochrome drinker. Not the celebrities. What the fuck is going on behind you? What is that? Because God knows if a celebrity was in front of the same nonsense, some Victorian era, whatever that is, blinds and shades, you'd say exactly what I'm saying about you. And do you want to know what those criminal transactions are? I think we all know what those criminal transactions are, right? It's not adrenochrome. It's probably something a little more diabolical than that. These people get off doing things with children, not drinking their blood. I don't know how much what I'm allowed to say on this app without getting banned here too. But you can snort or smoke something one time. You can use that child dozens of times. From a business perspective, what's the better option to go with? What's the better option to sell if you're the cartel or if you're the mafia or whatever? Even if adrenochrome was real, can only be used one time. But if you keep that child alive, you can do what I think we all know what I'm talking about multiple times. But that's logical. That's logical. What? Please. Pizzagate has been debunked a million times. A million times. This is ridiculous that this guy, but yet you're supposed to be CIA or ex CIA. Come on. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. It can be used in real life to attenuate allergies. Oh, really? I didn't know that. So that's all adrenochrome can be used for, is to it's basically Zyrtec, it's basically Claritin D. That's it. No age benefits or aging benefits, I should say. Insane, man. We'll play a bit more of this and then we'll move on. I'm not going to be on here much longer. I was only going to be streaming on TikTok until around this time anyway. But since I got banned off there, decided to come over here. We'll be on for a bit more, and then we'll probably do a part 2 later this weekend. No, it's not even used because you have EpiPens that work better. Yeah, like these people have no idea what they're talking about. It. So, so for those who don't know, let me get back to what it was right here. West Point is simply a military school. It's not Harvard or Yale or Stanford or Oxford. It's not some hoity-toity. I went to West Point. It's a military school, right? That's not to say that they don't have good, academics or athletics or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. But West Point is not Oxford, right? It's not. Well, I studied at Oxford. I've never heard anyone go, well, I've got a degree from West Point. But I hear people tout their Harvard, Yale, Stanford, MIT degrees all the time. I never heard of, well, I went to West Point, and that's not me trying to be mean to people. I almost went to West Point, but it's like he's saying it like this is some prestigious school that the guy is from West Point, so he must be telling the truth. If anything, he's from West Point. It means he's controlled. If anything, you think the military just lets you have freedom and you can do whatever you want? No. Why do you think they yell in your face and call you scum and all this other nonsense? To break you down. Because no one's going to pay for it. Who wants to pay for this nonsense? And also, why would the CIA let him say any of this? Why would the CIA let him say any of this? Right? If all of this is true, shouldn't he be out of here? Why is Robert Steele? Why is David Icke? Why is that Italian guy? I forget his name at the moment, but he's like super Italian. He has the Italian accent. Oh my God, I forget his name at the moment. But why are these people just allowed to live and say all this stuff? Isn't the Illuminati masters at unaliving people? Surely there's a way that they can just make it look like. I mean, didn't they come out with the heart attack gun like in the 70s, where you can shoot something like the size of a splinter in your hand, a little splinter in your thumb, that size can hit you, dissolve. All it does is leave a little red mark, and it can cause heart attacks. Why can't they do something like that to these people? It doesn't have to be a whole, movie type unaliving. It doesn't have to be a Quentin Tarantino type unaliving. There's blood splatter everywhere. It could be a simple shot him with that the heart attack gun, and he's gone. Can easily make it look like an accident. Yeah, no problem doing it with apparently Amy Winehouse. No problem doing it to Avicii. No problem doing it to Michael Jackson. No problem doing it to what's the guy from Linkin Park? Him, Chester Bennington, the guy from Soundgarden. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. All these celebrities supposedly died from the Illuminati. Had no problem unaliving any of them. But you have a problem unaliving Robert Steele? You have a problem unaliving David Icke? Stop it. Stop it. All right. We can stop listening to this guy. What is this? Oh, this is another video. Jesus. All right. So first, a few things we need to notice with this. Look at the I don't know the on-screen overlay. I don't know what to call that. At the bottom here, this around here. Think about shows, and I mean, I don't know how old you guys might be, and the shows that you may have watched in the late 90s, early 2000s. But think of some of the more adult, and I don't mean adult as in sexual content. I mean, even though there was some of that, but I don't mean like corn, right? I don't mean that. I mean, it wasn't for kids. Daytime adult TV. What else would come on TV in America that had similar placements and all that to this? Can anybody guess? What the heck was that? Was that like a fly or something? I will. Can anybody guess? Jerry Springer, Maury, Montel Williams, these types of shows. TMZ, which is still on today, they do this right here. This type of I don't know what to call this, but like I'm just going to say on-screen overlay. They do this. Legitimate news organizations don't do this. I'm sure we've all seen at least one thing on CNN or Fox or ABC or NBC or Sky News or Russia Today or Reuters or BBC or CNBC. Legitimate news sites don't do this. This is sensationalism because it's coming from an entertainment news source. Alternative news sources. So why should I believe it? Because I don't. I don't. Before adrenochrome, after adrenochrome. That this doesn't or maybe before 50 years old, after. I mean, people get older. I don't know if conspiracy theorists know, but humans get older. Show every conspiracy theorist, look at a picture of your grandma when she was in her 30s. Then look at a picture of your grandma when she's in her 60s or 70s. I promise you, she doesn't look the same. I don't care how much surgery she had. She doesn't look the same. But that's evil, right? Do they think that celebrities are just supposed to be young forever? Wouldn't that be proof of a conspiracy? If Celine Dion looked like this when she was, I don't know how old she was in this picture, but let's say she was 40. And then also looked like this when she was, I don't know, how old is Celine Dion? Let's see. Celine Dion. Let's see. How old is she? She's 57. Where was I? Right here. Whoa, why is the mouse so crazy? Oh my God. Like what? Why is the mouse moving so crazy? Stop. Okay. So Celine Dion at 40 and then at 57. If she still looked the same, that would be a problem. But she doesn't, because people age. People get older. I don't know if the conspiracy theorists know that. All right. We'll do this last one and then I'll call it here. We've been going for about an hour. So I'll call this here. It's almost midnight here. And I got to wake up early tomorrow to get to prepare the boat. We're going out on the boat tomorrow. So I got to prepare the boat because we want to launch early. It'll be a Saturday. It's going to be pretty hot. So I don't know if anybody goes boating, but unless you have your own dock or whatever, boat launches get pretty crowded and pretty busy around 11 a.m. noonish. So we're trying to be out there by 10 a.m. So I do want to get at least 7 hours of sleep before I have to, prepare the boat and everything like that. So we'll do Ariana Grande and Courtney Cox, and then we'll call it here. And then I'll be live again probably sometime this weekend because I can't go live on TikTok again until July 4th, next Friday. They always give me 7-day bans. I remember the days when I would get a day ban, 2-day bans. Now I'm up to 7-day bans. They all consume it, but their supply has been cut off. How and why? We can now see the effects and who was using it. Ariana Grande, Courtney Cox, Sharon Stone, and Ellen DeGeneres. So it's not people with autoimmune disorders. It's not people who are aging. It's because they took adrenochrome and stopped doing it. Why would Ariana Grande need adrenochrome? She's young. I don't even think she's 30 yet. I don't even think she's 30. I could be wrong, but I don't even think she's 30. Oh, she's 32. Okay, so she is in her 30s. But still, why would she need adrenochrome? That doesn't make any sense. And because so is this supposed to be a child? Is this a child? Because I see sideburns. Can someone show me a child with sideburns? I don't know a child with sideburns and a mustache. Can someone find me a child with sideburns and a mustache? That's ridiculous. Children don't have sideburns and mustache. So this can't be adrenochrome. Oh, this is adrenochrome back here. How do you know that? Because it's a brown bottle. This is probably alcohol. It's probably whiskey or something. Not adrenochrome. Oops, sorry. Skipped one. Now this one. This started happening after she was on Wicked. She did Wicked, and now she's all skinny and stuff like that. Now, I don't know her health history and all that other stuff, but I can tell you that being in a movie is a lot more demanding than writing an album. Because usually when you write an album, you're pretty much doing it on your own, right? You have a team of songwriters, producers, and all that, but you don't have to utilize them. You can literally do what Taylor Swift does and sit on your bed and just write and then turn it into your label when you're done. You can't make a movie doing that. A movie requires you to come to set working long hours, right? Which can be exhausting and taxing, especially if you're doing a big blockbuster that has multiple set locations. Nowadays, if you're working with a director like a Quentin Tarantino or a Denis Villeneuve, right, or Bong Joon-ho, or Bong Joon-ho, the guy that did Parasite. When you're working with these auteurs, you're working with a Chris Nolan. You're not sitting in a soundstage in London or in Brentwood or Los Angeles. You're going from Greece to New Zealand to New York City to China to film, right? The different time zones, the lack of sleep, the grueling work hours could cause autoimmune disorders. Happens a lot. Ask your favorite CEO. Happens a lot. That's probably what's happening here. Why would Ariana Grande need to take adrenochrome? That doesn't make any sense. She was young, and she still is young. She's younger than me. Why would she need adrenochrome? That doesn't make any sense. Courtney Cox is old. She's old. This is not good. She doesn't. That's not. But that's what happens when you age. How old is Courtney Cox? '61. I guess conspiracy theorists believe that when you're 61, you should still look like you're 40. No. This is what happens when they take off the makeup. They stop getting Botox. Has nothing to do with adrenochrome. She's old. That's what happens. You age. Sorry. Like what? Who is this Sharon Stone? Again, I'm guessing they want Sharon Stone to look like she did in Basic Instinct. Sorry, she got old. Ellen DeGeneres got old. Stop wearing makeup. If Ellen doesn't have her show anymore, why would she be all done up? Do they not understand that before these people get on set and go do their job, they sit in a makeup chair and they get makeup done by professional makeup artists to look young? This is airbrush. At least Sharon Stone is airbrushed. That's not her natural look. It's airbrush. She was cut off by Trump. Isn't she a multi-millionaire? Why can't she just fly to Zimbabwe and get some adrenochrome? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Cut off by Trump. Okay, I'm going to hop on my private jet, fly to a country where I'm not cut off. Like this, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Ellen doesn't have her show anymore. So why would she be in all kinds of makeup? She's not doing promo and press. She's sitting at home with her wife, assuming they're still together. Why would she need to be all done up? Why would she need to look like this when she's sitting at home with her wife? Doesn't make any sense. What's her name? Damn. I forgot her name. Wait, oh man, I forgot this person's name. Damn it, I forgot her name. But her. Why would she need to still look like this? She's not doing her. What was that show? She was my Life on the D List or whatever. She's not doing that anymore. Is she still doing stand up? Like, why would she need to look like this anymore? She made her money. She's older now, wants to chill. Why would she need to look like this anymore? Johnny Depp doesn't look like this. This was for a movie role. This was for a role. He doesn't look like this guy over here anymore. This was a young Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was actually just in the news. Three days ago. This is from 3 days ago. Does that look like a skinny, no facial hair Johnny Depp? No. So is he back? Is he back taking adrenochrome? I thought Trump stopped it. So how does he look like this now? Like make it make sense. Make it make sense. And this is Celine Dion again. Like, come on. Madonna is old. She's old. Madonna's like, I think she's in her 70s or something. Or maybe her 60s, because her and Michael were around the same age, right? Well, no, Michael died in 2009 and he was 50. So, yeah, so she's got to be in her late 60s, if not 70s. How old is Madonna? 66, mid 60s. You think Madonna is supposed to look like she did when she did Like a Virgin? Like what are you talking about? She's old. Nancy Pelosi, stop. Sure, she might be doing weird shit with stocks, illegal shit with the stock market. She's old. That's what old people do. They age. The Illuminati want your children. A Catholic exorcist says Celine's clothing line is satanic. Who cares what a Catholic exorcist says? What? Who cares? Buddhist monk says, well, who gives a damn? Who gives a damn? Muslim imam says, I don't give a damn. Who cares? They can say whatever they want. What does this have to do with anything? I thought Celine's clothing line dresses children, but this was talking about grape and transforming. Has nothing to do with kids' clothing line. Like what? Make it make sense. I don't get it. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. But that's the community that we're dealing with. All right, guys, it is 12:04 in the morning. I got to go get some sleep, get ready to wake up for tomorrow, preparing the boat. We're going out on the boat tomorrow. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for a little bit. Sucks I got banned on TikTok. I would prefer to have done this on TikTok. It would have definitely reached more people. It's so hard to build an audience over here on YouTube, but I appreciate the people who stopped by and the conversation. Thank you guys. I will try to go live again this weekend. Probably not tomorrow because I'll be on the boat pretty much all day. So when I'm done with that, I'll be tired. But we'll see about Sunday evening coming back on here. And because I unfortunately work Sunday, but Sunday evening, I might be able to come on here and give you guys a little something. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Now, I don't go live on YouTube, so I'm going to have to figure out how to stop the stream. How do I stop a YouTube stream? I don't know how to do that. How do I stop streaming? Do I just like exit? Like how do I stop? Well, I can stop sharing. That's fine. But how do I stop streaming? I don't know how to do that. And it's not as like, oh, there it is right there. Okay. That's how you stop streaming. Got it. All right. Thank you guys. I will catch you guys later this weekend. I hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you again for hanging out. And as always, seek the mysteries. Peace.